What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today we have a very special guest all the way in Austin, Texas. Personal friend of both Josh and myself. This guy has come a long way. He's an amazing performance coach / consultant. He is an ambassador for Lululemon, coach for Mir. He runs his own business, the CEO of Durable Athlete. Please help us welcome the one and only Cristian Plascencia. What's up, brother?
Yes, sir. I love the accent on the last name, bro. It's probably the best.
I'm so glad that I have him here because I sound like such a fucking gringo all the time. Like,
yeah. No, that was perfect, bro. That was probably the best one right there. I'm gonna go ahead and say.
He's always like, "Do you want to take this intro?" I'm like, "Nah, bro. You got them all. You got them all. You're good."
I just love all the brownie points I collect every time. I'm like, damn, brownie point.
Everyone's so impressed. I'm like, bro, he's Cuban. Like, he doesn't get any fucking, he doesn't get any props for that. He should be running that.
That's fucking good. Yeah.
All right, now it's time for Josh to attempt.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying. I need to before I move to PR, dude.
That's right. He's going to Puerto Rico, so.
Yeah, I'm out in June, dude. So.
Damn, you're out in June.
Yeah, I'll be coming back to record the podcast with Mendez for 1 week a month, but then I'll be living that Caribbean life the rest of the time.
Damn.
Good. Wait, I think this is the first time we mentioned on the podcast?
Nah, I mentioned it last.
You mentioned
time.
it.
Yeah,
okay,
last time. But you can get a little secret sauce too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Come down and visit, man. Come down.
Yeah. For sure, bro. We need to. Obviously, once all these like travel restrictions, or is there any travel restrictions going out there?
No, you need like a molecule test, like a swab test or the PCR test, but you know, you can get around that. There are ways.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Hopefully the Puerto Rican government's not listening to me, but
but the people are.
Yeah, as long as listen, I'm a man of the people, all right? I'm trying to serve.
I like it.
So how you been, man? How are things going for you? Dude, obviously you're crushing it. You know, you came out with your Durable Athlete, and you're absolutely putting some amazing content value and effort out there. So I definitely want to dive into kind of the approach you took when you had to make that shift when COVID started, and kind of where you're at now, and also too would love to know the differences and kind of that experience that you're going through.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, you guys had mentioned in the beginning, I'm currently out in Austin, Texas. I feel like I have to preface that, right? Because, you know, being from California, if I was in California during COVID, I think my day-to-day would look very, very different than what it looks like today. So let's just say like February of 2020, I have my small group clients, whether it be a high school, athlete group, or whether it be a general population, small group in the gym. I have my private training clients. I have my private training clients in the gym and at their own home. So I have kind of like a mix of all these different types of people that I'm serving. While at the same time, Natalie, my girlfriend, but also, co-owner of the Durable Athlete, she was working still full time at On It. So we kind of have like our own thing going on in the day to day, but also trying to like build a business and build like the Durable Athlete, and just kind of getting like maybe more clarity, understanding more clarity around like what it is we want to do. What is our niche? What is our style of content? Who are we trying to speak to? So yeah, we got all those things going on. And then obviously, COVID hits, and I think maybe other states closed down like completely and right away. Luckily in Austin, Texas, I feel like really, bro, like restaurants and I guess essential places obviously were always open, but I couldn't really think about a time other than maybe like a 4 or 5 day period where like things like everything was shut down. You can't go to parks, you can't go to gyms, just like grocery stores and like gas stations, I guess, were open. And that was a very like great moment. Like a lot of great things came at that time. But what was most important, I think, was myself and Natalie really understanding that, okay, our day to day now is completely shifting. Those 4 or 5 days off, we're looking at each other like, like, what are we going to do, right? Do we push everything to Zoom? Do we do a bunch of Zoom working out classes? Or, we were already in the process of trying to release the Durable Athlete app, right? Like that was something we had been working at for a long time. It was just the continuous day-to-day of like shooting content. Like we wanted more time so we can have a bigger library to release. So it was like, okay, we're not going to rush into the app. We're going to keep doing what we're doing there. Whenever it releases, it's going to be ready and it's going to release the way we want. But this online like Zoom and like online training, bro, for again, that 45-day period, like, nah, we did it for like 2 or 3 months, man. And I'll be honest, like, it might have been serving people for sure that were not in Austin, Texas, or maybe people we weren't even training at the time, but it didn't resonate with me like energy wise. And same thing with Natalie, like we didn't get like that reciprocation of energy, right? That's usually what we feel when we're providing our value and our service to the highest point, right? When I'm working with athletes, I feel that. When Natalie's working with her online nutrition clients and lifestyle, like habit coaching, like that is something that she feels very energetic about. So like that gives her energy when she leaves that Zoom stuff just kind of seemed like more of a headache, I guess, you know,
the last thing you want is feel shitty about your own passion, right?
Exactly. You don't want to force something, right? We don't want to be doing something just to make $1. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that was like a big thing for us was, okay, those online Zoom things, they're just not for us. They might be for other coaches. We just don't really feel that. So at that time, we were lucky in that we had somebody from the junior NBA that we were really close friends with. She actually visited Austin like a couple months prior and trained with me and Natalie. And she came to us and was like, yo, we want to create this like online library of like workouts for the junior NBA community, right? So for the players all over the world, and then for the coaches and then for their parents. Amazing. And so they came to us and asked us for about 3 months to create like a daily workout format. So 90 workouts that, we, under contract with the junior NBA created for them in their community. So one, like right away, that was a blessing. Right. Because like for the most part, we weren't able to see our in-person clients where a lot of our money was coming from. And luckily being in Texas after like that 4 to 5 day period where things were shut down, we were really able to kind of pick back up into like our day to day. Now that was the case for me in terms of I was able to have my private training clients, small group clients. Like I was still able to serve everyone really like the same way, if not more after COVID, because a lot of gyms like On It, for example, had to shut down for like a prolonged period, right? They just didn't feel comfortable opening back up, which led to Natalie no longer really working at On It, kind of taking a jump into, okay, let's go put everything we have into the durable athlete from now on. Obviously with the junior NBA, backing us and helping us and having a 3-month period where we knew we were going to get paid. That was like very helpful to kind of get the ball rolling.
That's always a great thing, right?
Bro, 100%, man, 100%. And it was nerve wracking, bro. Like really, I remember like driving back. It was like a Monday after training a group of clients. Natalie got on the phone. We were on the phone with each other, and she's like, yo, On It is like shutting down. A lot of businesses are going to be shutting down for at least like this, like, a short period. Like, what the heck are we going to do? And literally, bro, like a blessing from above. I was getting a call at the same time. I was like, yo, I got to go. I got to take this call. Boom. Junior NBA shit hit.
It's funny how life works.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how if you set yourself up right and you do all that legwork beforehand and you make those connections over time and they're actually constructive, healthy connections that you're making, not just like okay, I know that you have something that I want. Let me, hang around you till I get it.
Right.
It always comes to fruition at that right time, right? Like right when you need something to happen, if you're doing the right things beforehand, it's like, oh, thank fucking God that this happened, It's funny to me, though, that you felt that way. I mean, I'm not surprised about the Zoom workouts, but when COVID hit, that was exactly how I felt about in-person training. I was just like, I'm not motivated by this anymore. I love my clientele, but a good portion of them they're not the people who are going to go above and beyond to do what I need them to do, for me to feel fulfilled. And that's when, he was already going all in with his coaching program. He's like, bro, you gotta figure it out, build out what you want to build out, high ticket, low ticket, whatever. And then just start pushing it. And it's been a fucking game changer since then. Even with the podcast, we talk about it all the time. Like, we've been talking about starting a podcast for like 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And always like, oh, well, we'll shoot this content instead. Oh, well, we got this search to go to. Oh, well, we have our clients to train, so we'll get to it later. And COVID hit, we were sitting inside, like, bro, if if I'm just going to be laying in bed all day or like sitting on my couch, like we can at least talk.
something.
We're talking to each other anyway. We might as well talk on a podcast, like, you know, and get that started. And the rest has been history. So it's always real interesting to me when you see people who you know have been really putting in the work, and then something fucking catastrophic, something really bad happens, and for everybody, and then you just see these people like kick it into overdrive. People like you just kick it into overdrive and go, okay, time to go all in, time to put all my cards on the house and roll with it. And then to see the success that you've been having is phenomenal.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. I think that is something, you know, we're grateful for where we're at for sure. Like we remind ourselves every single day to be, you know, grateful for what we have and the people that we know for sure. But yeah, I think like exactly what you said, what often gets overlooked is like the groundwork is like literally like just the day in and day out of like staying consistent in your routine, staying consistent into like, you know, the position that you want or the position that, you know, it might not be right in front of you right at that point, but it's like you're working for like as if you were already in that position. And that's just something that me and Nat always try to reiterate to each other, right? Like, because it's like we're never perfect, right? Like I'm not perfect. There's going to be certain days where I wake up and maybe I feel a little less inspired or motivated. And that's when it's like having someone around you that can kind of remind you like, yo, like, we're going to have days like this, but like, just remember, like, we're not working for the position that we're in. We're working for the position that we want to be in, you know, in the near future. So
that's right.
Yeah. Bro, appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's always funny to me when people from the outside look at, you know, just to use you, for example, because you're obviously here right now, is like, people will be like, oh, Christian, like he's been so lucky. He's got to work like at On It with John and Shane and Eric and Isak. And, oh, it must be, you know, he's been so lucky. It's like, bro, no, I work for this. Yeah. You know, like you show up. I've seen you at the gym, mad fuck. I've gone to On It when you used to work there. You're there 5:30, you know, you're leaving 9 p.m. You know, you're walking around talking to people when you don't even have to walk around and talk to people. You could just be doing your own thing. And no one really looks at that. You know, they just see like, oh, you have, you know, Mendez, oh, you have such a large Instagram following. You must be so lucky. It's like, nah, well, luck wasn't a part of it 6 years ago. Right. You know, when I was DMing individual people.
Right. 100%, bro. 100%. And that's like so funny that you say that, because that was like a topic that myself and a couple of my friends, other trainers out here were having, is like, it's easy to kind of like look at other situations, other people, especially like with social media, right? Like we're able to somewhat stay connected into what we would see as like someone else's like reality on their social media page. It's easy to like be envious, or it's easy to just kind of be like, oh man, well, if I was there, I would be doing the same thing, or I could be working with so-and-so. But you know, especially coaching, man, coaching is like a very interesting, like trade, right? Like I think this will continue to evolve and change over time as well. But like where I was when I first started training people in college, and then like where my mentality is today, just from the things of like, as simple as how I'm programming, but even more important is like, how do I like, not maintain this relationship, but how do I cultivate like this relationship so that it's not just here for this 1 hour and this one time, right? But it's like, how can I have a very impactful relationship and create some real big, like empowering moments for the individuals, right, that we're serving.
So true. And it's so true, man, because the thing is that I tell people all the time, it's just like, as we try to grow in the coaching realm, I think what we come to realize more is that we all have our specialties and we're all good at different things. And obviously we want to keep getting stronger at that. But there's one thing that a lot of people sometimes neglect, and it's just becoming a better relationship builder and a better connector. You know, and I think that as coaches, if you can really strengthen your connections and your relationship building, communication, you're going to have an endless amount of success, because that's where coaching starts. You know, you can't even deliver a program or even assess somebody or get in front of somebody if you don't even know how to connect with them or build a proper relationship, and then like this cultivate and be able to create something even stronger down the road. So the fact you bring that up, I think it's extremely powerful, because I think something to learn now, especially moving forward in the coaching spaces, we got to understand that being able to make these connections effective and being able to grow these relationships effectively is going to be huge if you want to see success, especially online, because, you know, online you're not seeing people face to face. So it's going to be more challenging, and you have to be more creative, and you have to be more attention driven with those people when you're seeing them over Zoom or a message, to be able to build a cultivating relationship.
I feel that. You've been, if you don't mind me asking, well, you've been like remote coaching for a while now, right? Have you worked with clients like online and whatever it may be? It could be through Excel, it could be through Zoom, it could be through whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's something that, I really haven't spent much time in, right? And again, the little bit, I know it's not the same, but like the little bit that I dabbled in it with, like doing the Zoom for like 3 months in a row, right? Like on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, like, again, to me, like there was like a disconnect there. And to be honest, like, I don't know if I spent enough time really reflecting as to why, what is it about this that doesn't connect? Maybe I wasn't putting like enough time mentally into creating like lasting relationships and being like more attentive through like a computer. But yeah, I want to ask you, like, what is like through that whole process for you, remote coaching, like, what are like some big, I guess, points that kind of come into your head when you're kind of servicing people? And I know you might service a lot of different people. What is it like? What are some common things, I guess, that you do to help people feel like that connection via Zoom or phone or whatever it may be?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's a great question. So I'll say on both sides, because I know it's a little bit different if we're doing actual fitness coaching, or if you're actually working with a client, training them, then versus, you versus me if I'm doing business coaching and I'm trying to interact with a client in a different way. So I guess I'll kind of do both. Yeah. When I was doing fitness coaching in the past online, it was funny because at first you're kind of just like, oh, let me just stand here and watch, and just, okay, move here, move there. Let me see from this angle. And it wasn't until I realized that actually the more talking I did with them, the better they would respond. And just more of just seeing how they're feeling, asking questions throughout the fitness training session. That's where I felt that I got the most responses, with asking the right questions. And then that they right there felt that, okay, he really cares, because they can't really say like, if you're in person, obviously somebody's watching you can tell damn, my coach is really watching me. Like, look at he's looking at the angles, like he's really paying attention. He's even putting his hands, tactile cues, and we'll say stuff. But on Zoom, you can't really tell if your coach is really watching you, like to that degree, and you can't touch them. So when you talk to them and you ask them questions, is how you can make them feel the attention is there. And I think that was one of the biggest game changers on the fitness training side. It's just constantly asking questions, and the right questions to make them feel comfortable. And then, even on the business side, again, going back to asking the right questions, letting them know how they feel. Also, too, asking even before you jump on the call. Even you could do this with their fitness training clients and with my business coaching clients. I sometimes asking like, hey, what are the biggest things you want to talk about today? What are the 3 biggest questions you may have for me? And just kind of like letting them know before we jump on the call, I'm paying attention to you. Like, I want to know how I can help you before we even get on the call, so that way I can set the right framework on the call, and we can focus on what it is that you want to talk about, and what it is that you might be struggling with, and we can address that properly. So there's so many other different ways, but I would say when you first start, those are probably some of the best ways to just begin.
Well, and I think too is like even deciding with the client, like what is the best approach, right? I'm with you. I cannot stand just watching someone on Zoom or like on Facebook. Like when I had to do that during the beginning of lockdown, I hated it. I hated it. My clients hated it. But like, listen, we know you are fucked if we don't pay you, and we need to train. So this is what we need to do by now. And what I found, like, really shifting more online and not dealing so much with like people who are used to seeing me in person or seeing me over screen, was
Josh just likes to see me.
Yeah, of course. But most people honestly don't need you there every day coaching them through it. Like whether or not their squad is as perfect as yours or mine or Mendez's, like they is it important to us that they move well? Yeah, like I don't want you moving like shit, but do you need to be as proficient as I am right now? No, like go and do your squat. And what I found is if you give them more autonomy through like whether it be True Coach or through your app or whatever, right? They actually are they're more ready and able to commit and stay committed and get the shit done because you're giving them that autonomy, right? You're not saying like, okay, show up at 11. It's like, if you don't show up at 11 and you don't do what you need to do without me texting you, you're not going to see the results you want.
Yeah.
You know, so it's as we've known since the beginning of the time we started training, or once we have been in the field for like a year, you start to realize like, it's not about what I'm doing, right? Like what I do is important because I need to get them to do, like my client to do what they need to do. But if I do what I do and they don't do what they need to do, then they're not going to get their results anyway. So I need to figure out a way, like, fuck, it's important what I do, but I already know what I can do. You know, I know what I'm good at. I need to figure out ways to get them to be more accountable, to be more consistent, to be more compliant, you know, and if you're not sitting there in front, if they know that you're not going to be there at 11 o'clock, then they're forced to go do it themselves. And then over time, that just becomes a habit, you know, if they do it long enough.
Yeah. It's true. It almost makes them like have to take more like responsibility for themselves.
100%.
Right? More like ownership of like their health, their fitness and everything. Yeah. That's funny too. Cause I just did a podcast maybe like a week ago or a week and a half ago or so. And we were talking about something very similar, like, you know, clients just taking a little bit more like ownership and responsibility, especially during COVID when like, if we weren't able to be there in person or whatnot, right? That we just had some way of staying in routine. So that is kind of another reason why we created the Durable Athlete, right? Like myself and Natalie, why we created our business, the Durable Athlete, was realizing that it was bigger than the fitness, right? Inside the gym for 1 hour. Like that's big. Don't get me wrong. That is a big piece in optimizing, you know, one's mental and physical health for sure. But what was maybe even more important was, what are you doing like the 23 other hours of the day?
Yep.
Right? Like, are you sleeping? Are you even mindful of your sleep? Like, do you not, or you don't eat like regular or whole foods? You eat, you know, processed foods. Oh, okay. And you're up all night, all day with like constant, you know, stress and work. Then like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. Like, it doesn't really matter what we do in here. Yeah. You know, matter of fact, like, I would say that if your lifestyle, so everything other than fitness, is like subpar, then we could be doing more harm than benefit in the gym, right? Just because of like the state that your mind and your body is in. Right. So yeah, that was kind of like a big reason why we wanted to like really harp on that. It's like, you know, hey, it's not just like a workout program we want to provide for you. It's like this lifestyle, literally like this lifestyle that we want to build or help people build, right? And it's kind of tough because like, you want people to start walking, right? So just like going outside and taking more outdoor walks. That's usually something that we try to like prescribe to a lot of our clients. Like what you come up with like a walking program, you know what I'm saying? Like what do you do? Like, how do you create like momentum there? And, you know, obviously that's kind of been like, you know, the question and like what we are trying to do when we start talking about speaking to the different elements of our business and our coaching under the Durable Athlete. But yeah, it's so funny. Like there's like a lot of stuff with sleep and with like stuff like lifestyle habits, right? I guess it all kind of falls under lifestyle, where it's like, there's not a program. Like, sure, there's a video we can put up and show you, but like, you just got to go fucking do it.
Right. Well,
yeah, you got to 100%.
Well, the program in that, right. And this is the thing that I found with people online, and it's like this with people in person too, is that because of the world that we're in now, right? Everyone thinks that everything that you do that gets the biggest results has to be the most complex thing you've ever done in your entire life, right?
Not.
And the thing that I've really found is worked and explained to people is like, listen, don't let the complexity of the action be the focus. Let the complexity of your consistency of the continuation of the action be the difficult part. Like the action itself doesn't have to be difficult. The action itself should be extremely simple, in fact. You know, it should be so simple that even on your most stressed out day, you're still able to accomplish it because it's that easy. What should be difficult? What's that?
Quick, did you come up with that quote?
No, I should though. Maybe I should get. Maybe I should get it trademarked.
Yeah, we might need to rewatch that. But that's a standalone post, or that's the title of something, bro.
There we go.
But it's true. It's true, right? Like the things that are really good, like what you do in your workout necessarily isn't as important as you getting your workout in, right? What you're eating isn't necessarily as important as like you just eating healthy food, right? Like you picking, I don't care what you put on your salad. I don't care what salad dressing you use. Eat a salad.
Yep.
Eat any salad.
Yep.
You know, I don't care how big of a cup of water you drink. Just drink a lot of cups of water.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm going to say it all goes back to this. We all have our amazing specialties. We're all gifted in many different areas. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that all people come to us mainly, and even though they don't know it, but it's the reason, it's accountability.
Oh,
that's
1,000%.
It's accountability across the boards. And it's because of those things. And if you could just start doing what you know, and us, most of the times these people know what they need to do more or less. They're just looking for us to reinforce that and hold them accountable. And then from there, once you can see that, man, you know what, this person is doing this, then we can get into more detail. Now we can be a little more specific. Now we can sprinkle our specialties onto them. Now we can expand. But you got to just fucking move. Like, just walk. Go eat better. Like, you know what you got to do. Like, you know you got to eat some greens. You know you got to eat the salad. You know you got to just move your body and go for a walk. You know, do what you know now so you can become a mover. You know, and that's why as coaches, like, I think we can all agree that that's why we look for movers. We want to work with movers because those are the ones that want to continue succeeding. Because if you find a mover, then you know that they're going to be like, you know what? I've already been moving for maybe like a month now. I've been experiencing this. I feel better. I feel good. Now I really want to hone into more details. I really want to be more specific. I'll have some other goals that I have in mind that are going to have to take a little bit more of a different approach. Let me find a professional that can help me with or hold me accountable to be able to continue this growth. But you know, everybody out there, guys, you got to just start moving on whatever it is that you're doing. And this is just not fitness only, but just in life. Like, move in your relationship, move in your business, move in your friendships, move in your health. You know, you got to just move, and you will keep winning. And then from there, you'll realize, okay, crap, this is what's been holding me back because I haven't been moving enough.
It's true. True. I love that, bro. I love that. I'm glad we were able to talk about that. I mean, like you said, it's at the basis of every profession, regardless of who you are and what you do, right? Like you can't hit the ball if you don't show up to that bat, or whatever analogy you want to, use 100%.
So through, obviously you developed that, but I'd love to kind of talk a little bit about that and then kind of hear about some of the things that you've, gotten feedback on from the users of the app.
And also too, like the name Durable Athlete, which I love.
Yeah, we should start there.
Let's dive behind that.
How did you come up with
how'd
you come up with the Durable Athlete brand? I love that.
Yeah, 100%. I wish I could say that like somebody said it one day and I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer right away. But, I feel like I can't speak to the Durable Athlete without talking about, my time working at Onnit as like a durability coach, right? So while I was at Onnit, I was, we had durability classes, which are basically like recovery and like the longevity-based classes that Onnit would host. That was something very unique that like Onnit had, right? Like not too many other gyms have a recovery class. You have yoga for sure, but it was a little bit different. There's foam rolling, there's breathing, there's movement, there's all these, things encompassing within that class. And what I learned throughout my years working at Onnit and being a part of their education team and taking the education that they have, and then obviously having, a plethora of other coaches to come in and teach certifications and teach other workshops and seminars is, availability, right? Like just being available, right? Just being at our baseline, just being like at our homeostasis and our baseline to be able to just show up and perform. It kind of goes back to what you said, right? Like just show up, like just being able to be in a state to show up is like the majority of the battle. Right. And so for me, right, the way Onnit kind of like, I guess like pictured it or framed it was like durability, right, is basically the ability to not resist or prevent injury or to prevent setbacks, right? And again, that could be injuries. That could be a setback with your wife. That could be, a setback with just any trust or relationship that you have with anybody. Or it could even just be you got fired from work or a monumental life change, right? Like it's not preventing those things, but it's about being able to be resilient enough to be able to have like a bounce back that's not something where you're out and about for 6 to 7 months, or you're out for a year, right? Or mentally you're in a fog for an extended period. It's an acute action, right? When those setbacks happen, it's an acute reaction, right? Our body, and because if we can make that quick jump, if we can make the quick bounce back, it's because of our foundation that was in place. And that's kind of where the durable athlete comes, is our lifestyle sets us up as our foundation. Our lifestyle dictates how sturdy and resilient our foundation is, right? Yeah. If we don't get very good sleep and we don't eat very good food, and we're kind of like, maybe we work out a shit ton, like every single day, like F45, like high intensity, or maybe we don't do anything whatsoever. If something comes and knocks us off of our like day to day, right? We got to wake up earlier now. Maybe the weather changes, maybe just the environment around us changes. Then our foundation is going to dictate whether, okay, you're sick for a year, right? I don't want to go out and say this, but like,
it's a fact. Good, say it.
Like, your health is shit, and COVID comes around, like, and you get COVID. Is not to say I can't say that that's the reason, but like, you definitely aren't marking all the boxes that are going to help you be able to be resilient towards those type of deals, right? Towards those type of events and setbacks. So that's kind of like where the durable athlete comes from, is like, let's set up a sturdy foundation because when shit happens in life, because shit happens, that we understand and we have the tools within ourselves to bounce back right away and not lose our consistency and not lose our process.
So you said a word over and over again, and that's foundation. And I think that's something that most people skip on. And I just want to know, why do you think most people love to half-ass the foundation or skip the foundation and jump into the more advanced things? And what is how do you lay your foundation for your durable athletes? How do you lay that foundation in a way that makes them feel like, man, this is great, I love this, and I want to continue reinforcing this foundation because I understand that I need it?
100%. Why I think people lack foundations or just don't think about it is just a lack of awareness and education. And I think that's why like, people like ourselves are out here, right? Like trying to spread this word, like trying to get this like good word out to people, because a lot of like in school, I never learned that. I mean, I think we all knew getting sleep was like important, but for me personally, because everyone learns differently, right? Like for me personally, when I see all of like the scientific reasoning and the biological happenings in our body, that is like something very tangible for me, because that's my background. Kind of like Josh, that was our schooling. That's what we grew up around: exercise physiology and biology and the chemistry that's happening when we're exercising or resting or whatnot. Like those were, for me, when I saw all the adaptations that could happen, good or bad, when like, for example, like not sleeping enough or not eating good foods, that one for me was like, okay, I need to make this change. And then once I made that change, then I started to feel better. And then I was like, okay, this feeling, this like sensation, call it like, it's something you can't touch, right? It's emotional. It's psychological. Like once I started feeling that from what I was doing for my foundation and my lifestyle habits, it's like a no-brainer now. It's like now when I don't do it, when I don't sleep well, when I don't eat like I usually do, then I feel it. I feel it like in my mind and my body. I can just like, I don't want that. Right. And so that's kind of like why I think maybe some people just don't even think about it, is, you know, maybe no one's ever really told them, or really maybe it's never been put out to them in a way that they can like digest and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really important. I need to make a change like now in my life, you know, or I need to make some type of change.
Yeah.
But also it's not sexy, bro. Like I know we talked about, you know, people come to us for accountability, but like, if I told you, okay, bro, okay, so you come to me and you're like, man, like, I need to get my nutrition and my lifestyle right? That's usually why Natalie or people will work with Natalie online, right? And it's like, okay, cool. So we know we want to get you, you know, to bed at a pretty consistent time every night. And we want you to wake up, you know, at a consistent time every morning, right? That's like step one. Step two is let's get those times to start being in an optimal time. So let's maybe like shoot for like, a lot of people are like after midnight, right? So, hey, let's get to like 10. Let's get to like in bed by 9:30 so that you could hopefully be asleep by 10, right? And granted, it's going to be tough. And granted, there's things that we can do with like nighttime teas and natural remedies to kind of help people, right? And we could affect their exercise throughout the day and their natural light exposure to kind of help facilitate things like sleep, right? But like, who thinks that they need to hire somebody to tell them that for X amount of dollars per month, right? It's like, it's a very interesting like thought process. Like, I feel like, why wouldn't people want to make these changes? I don't think they need to pay somebody to tell them like how they need to live a healthier lifestyle, but it's pretty evident that the majority of people don't have a good understanding. Yeah. Like, they don't know what they don't know.
I don't think that it's that they need, it's that they want verification, validation of their actions, right? Regardless of if they're good or bad, which is why a lot of the times when they do bad shit, they don't come to people like us. They go to their friends who are doing bad shit. Like, is it, it's okay that I'm having like, that I'm eating this burger after we just went, after we went to the club for 12 hours? Like, it's okay that I eat this whole pizza by myself.
Out a whole week. Come on.
You know, like, yeah, man, it's okay. Because their friend, it probably feels bad about themselves and doesn't want to feel any more bad. So like, yeah, eat that pizza. Whether it's subconscious or not, and I don't mean to like scare everybody, be like, your friends are out to fucking get you. They're not, but they probably don't know. It's more subconscious than they think, but they're like, yeah, eat that pizza.
That's right? Why Josh didn't
Whereas
wear his.
You and I would be like, no, dude, just go to bed.
That's like, why Josh didn't wear his Cuban sandwich Versailles shirt today. He just wore the orange.
I love that.
You know, but I'm going to give you another quotable thing, and you can use this if you want. Just make sure you tag me, okay? You said doing the things you need to do isn't sexy, right? But why do the things that get you to look sexy have to be sexy? You know, they don't.
Right. Yeah.
They don't.
True. Very true.
You know,
and it's funny, but like, you guys have been in the fitness and like health industry long enough to understand like what is realistic when we see body like composition changes, right? Mm-hmm. Like aesthetically, when we're looking at somebody, right? Like, it's safe to say that if we have 10 people in a room, some people are going to be, just at a biological standpoint, they're going to be at a different level of being able to like obtain the 6-pack abs, the super defined arms, chest, and like, there's going to be the other half of the people in there that are just like genetically not really like going to be best at that. Maybe it could just be that their bodies are, those 5 other bodies are better at just holding more weight. Like, some bodies just need more weight, whether it be for the health of their organs, health of their brains, and just they need a higher level of fat content. Like, there's so much like variability there. And so like, to only want to work out to look sexy, like, let's just be honest, those people that we see that are ripped like that, like, that's not like a long-term thing. Like, people are cutting calories most likely, right? Like, a lot of them, maybe not everybody, but a lot of them are like cutting down carbs. They cut down their calories, and then they just, once they get to a visually aesthetic place, they're like, cool, this is all I got to keep doing. Right. But like, no one told them about like adrenal fatigue. Mm-hmm. No one's told them about how like your organs could literally give out at any second because you're dehydrated and malnutrited, and you don't eat throughout the day, and you eat 1,500 calories when you should be eating 5,000. Like, your body can only get away with that for so long. Right.
Or you're somebody from Miami, you just get surgery.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
That's true.
And it's so true too, because a lot of a ton of my clients train me because they're like, I want to look like you. I'm like, listen, you want to look like me, how I look on the day of a photo shoot? I'm telling you right now, you do not want to do the things that I do to get ready for a photo shoot. Like, I have a specific goal in mind, and I shut everything else off. I'm not expecting you to like tell your husband or your wife like, nah, I'm not doing anything with you for the next 3 months. Like, it's not something that is sustainable for most people. No. Like, I know exactly, like, I have a 4-hour window to get these photos in. So if I'm not ready in those 4 hours, like, I lose money, I lose time, I lose sponsorships,
Make sure you tag Josh.
Yeah, make sure you tag me. I'm all about the clout, dude. I'll take all the clout I can get, man.
I got you.
Is this $100 shirt? Because you're always buying $100 t-shirts.
Yeah, but dude, the thing is, you forget. He always shits on me this, but he forgets I buy them on sale.
Yes, that's the thing, bro. They're $500 shirts. They're $100 now. Yeah.
And he always comes in. I'm like, bro, is that another free T-shirt? He's like, it's a free T-shirt. It's a free T-shirt.
That's so funny, bro. I love it, man. Now y'all got your own little swag, bro. I respect it. Yeah. Y'all are some Miami boys, man. Y'all got it on.
Yeah, he's got the South Miami look, and I have the South Beach look, so it's good. I look super douchey, and he looks like he could like be normal. And
Am I normal though?
I don't know. That's why I said it looks like you could be normal,
Oh shoot, man.
So where are things headed for you, man? Like where is this app going for you? Where's the Durable Athlete going? How's it expanded? And what are some of the nuances that are going to be coming out of this down the road?
Yeah, definitely, man. Gosh, that's a great question. What I can say is what I can foresee, right, is, this app, that we've had out now since like the end of November, damn near like 1st of December when we released. So it's almost been over a month, right? Yeah, a little bit over a month, I guess, or so. And I think the feedback that we've gotten so far, and this just, I think, makes complete sense, is like creating content around like feeling better, right? Like you guys know better than anybody, right? You guys are the two guys, like, and I say the word competition, but I think you understand the way I'm trying to use it here is like, there's so much other trainers out there and competition, right? From like a market standpoint, that like, why try to be another fitness guy saying that the same thing in a different way, right? Maybe you're talking to it with the mace, maybe I'm talking to it with the medicine ball, and maybe you're talking about it with bodyweight Mendes. There's so much great content and great stuff out there for people to access, and a lot of it sometimes for free, right? Let's just be honest. Like social media, like has provided that, right? And YouTube has provided that type of stuff. So it's like, okay, maybe as much as we love the fitness stuff, and as much as like we still want to provide that style of content, right, for people. Why don't we start kind of providing more services for like, the shoulder fix? And I'm using the word, fix as just like a layman's term, but like the hip fix, the lower back fix, the spine fix, the the desk neck fix, the desk wrist fix, like going after more of like that.
It dick neck.
I'm sorry.
I call it dick neck. When you're like slip.
I gotta make sure I don't say that around no parents or anybody. I shouldn't say that around.
Your watch is gonna slip now. You're gonna be like, shit.
Yeah, every time I say it now, I'm just gonna have a smile.
That's my new favorite phrase, dude. I'm stealing that one.
Stealing it now.
Stealing that one for sure.
Yeah,
like gay clients are gonna love the shit out of that one. Like, oh well, we have a different. We call that something different.
Yeah, but around that, bro, like basically creating content around like helping people just feel better. Again, just get to a good baseline, right? Like do, whether that be with breath work, whether that be with just, some like joint by joint, like mobility stuff. And, because of what we're trying to attack a lot of times is like really trying to focus on like the connective tissue, the tendons, the ligaments, the muscles for sure, but more of like the stuff in between, like, because that's usually the stuff that may be like potentially limiting like our ability to move and like feel well. I think it just makes sense in like creating these short, type of clips where people can just follow along for like 3 to 5 minutes. And it's not about, doing it for an hour, right? But like maybe you do this video 2 times a day, right? And then you just kind of keep building on different videos each different day. And to the point where like, like you're doing that, and maybe you're doing some breath work, and now you just kind of feel like you have more energy. Your body feels like it could go work out if it wanted to, right? Like, I think many of us are in that state. A lot of people that we serve are in that state of like, whether it be maybe not chronic pain, but chronic shit going wrong with you, right? Yeah. And like chronic, like not having a lot of energy. I know those are like terrible ways to put it, but you'd be surprised and how many of our clients probably are going through that, right? They just think they have to be in the grind all day to get their job done. And I'm sure there's moments and times where we grind it out for sure. But if every single day you're pushing yourself to the limit, you're not doing things to make sure that your foundation is as durable as possible, like you're not going to go as far in the long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like where our thoughts are, is helping people just feel better and then kind of taking them, on whatever journey after.
Well, and I really like how you found specific problems, right? For a variety of different like client avatars or clients, whatever you want to call them, right? And to your point about not just being another guy who's just or girl who's just doing workouts, right? Like find actual problems that people have in their life, right? Like, so we meant as business coaches, like coaches and trainers and people who are on social media platforms but really don't know how to use that to generate income, right? Super specific niche, murdering it. right?
Mhm.
You with these little, you know, in the Durable Athlete brand, coming up with small digestible content that people can use to help kind of like alleviate some of the issues that they're having right now. What I found was like, I can't stand this whole like analysis by paralysis by analysis, right? So simplifying things and reducing a lot of that stress by just giving like really actionable steps to people who are way too busy to begin with.
And I think the other thing too is like as a coach, one of the biggest things I tell, you know, my coaches and clients that I work with is show up and be you on social media.
Yeah.
Like, people know you're a coach already. Show your personality. Talk. You know, show your lifestyle. Show how you are, your hobbies. Share that information. Because
those walks that you were doing, that was like one of my favorite favorite story things that you would do. You know, like the walks in the morning, mindset. Like I used to tune in every day to watch those. I love that shit.
And you'd be surprised, most people connect with that. You know, because there's a lot of you know, good coaches, there are a lot of bad coaches, they're in between, and there's all of them coming up. But what's going to separate you apart as well, you know, besides your very niche specialization is how you resonate with people and how people resonate with you, because they're going to be like, damn, these are two great coaches, but shit, I really connect with Chris because, yo, he's a bro. We talk, yo, it hits home for me. Yo, I just love his vibes. Yo, his energy, the way he speaks, it just like hits me in a certain way. And that's what people buy into. It's because they're like, I want to buy into the person. And then behind the person, obviously, is the quality that I'm going to receive. Because me and you could be doing the same exact program, deliver the same exact value, and I guarantee you that people would not choose me or vice versa over you because they connect with you or me on a different whole level and frequency, and that's what they want. That's what they're paying for.
Yep, that's true. 100%, bro. I couldn't agree with that more. And that's funny because that is like what myself and Natalie continue to harp on when we talked about kind of like at the beginning of this podcast is like, how do we keep relationships and like keep cultivating these relationships for as long as we can and providing value? And that's, I think, a big piece that does not get spoken to enough. And again, even if you've been in the industry for a long time, or if you are a new up and coming trainer, right, or even a strength and conditioning coach, like if you can connect with your players or connect with your athletes, your clients, however you want to put it, like, dude, you're going to be so far ahead. You know, maybe one coach, you know, makes, hey, you should start sleeping a little bit more, going to bed at a better time. Right. And if you have that deep relationship where they really value what you have to say because they know you care about them, they're probably going to take that to heart and like really go put that to action. Whereas they could be a relationship between a coach and a client. And it's like, this is purely transactional. You're here for an hour, you need the money, talk to you next Wednesday or whatever it may be. And like whatever tries to get communicated there, like, what type of buy-in do you have? I mean, that's something that's cultivated through like a relationship with the coach and the client, you know?
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, I still run into players that I used to coach at FAU, and some of them were the same age as me. A couple of them were even older than me, but they still see me. They're just as excited to see me as they did back then because they knew that I was there to help them get better at their sport, right? Like, I wasn't there just to be the asshole with the stopwatch and a whistle, like, you know, standing on my soapbox, beating the hell out. Like, I was there so that you could get better at doing the thing that you really love to do and hopefully could do professionally, you know? And now I see them, it's been 6 years already, 7 years, and it's wild. And they're still just as cool with me and excited to see me, you know, because of that genuine relationship that I built with them.
And then when Josh sees me and I see Josh, I'm like, damn, what is he going to tell me now? What is Josh going to tell me now?
Can't wait for the 5 fires I'm about to put out. He comes in, he's like, dude, what do you think we could do these 48 different things? I'm like, we haven't even done the 7 we went over before.
Dreams, bro. That's what keeps y'all going, man.
Man, he's the kite and I'm the line, dude. That's how we.
Yeah, I love.
I gotta keep him grounded.
Have that.
That's why it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, brother, I would love to definitely dive into a little bit more about, you know, some of the nuances that you see moving on into the fitness realm, some of the things that you would like to see continue growing, and some of the things that you might say this is going to shape the industry.
Yeah, definitely, man. Ooh, that's a great question, bro. Man, I'm going to be biased and say, you know, I think maybe like going forward, and I guess I'll kind of just speak to, you know, the niche that I am like trying to, I guess, like carve out for myself, which is, you know, working with athletes and working in the capacity of like optimizing, you know, not just their foundation for their lifestyle habits, right? So the sleep, the stress and the breath and the nutrition and the hydration, right? But like also the foundation of like human movement, right? From like a physical standpoint. One, I think, and I would hope that like going forward within sports and within athlete preparation, everything from young age to professional, that there's a little bit more emphasis put into like the human being as a whole, right? So like, again, respecting the mental and the physical, right? Obviously, I think a lot of coaches respect the physical. That could probably, when broken down a little bit more, could probably be broken down even more in terms of like creating and challenging, you know, their human movement foundation. So do each individual joints, or do individual joints work to the capacity that they're able to? Do they work in unison with one another, you know, irrespective of like external loads, right? Like, can they just control their own body weight through these different foundational movement patterns? And if so, then we can continue to ride this line of like, you know, strength and conditioning and create a bigger, faster, stronger athlete. Like, I would hope that, again, the whole athlete would be taken into account from like a mental and physical standpoint, but then also a physical standpoint. I would hope that people would start to pay more attention to like the recovery side of things and not having things be so like passive, right? Whether that's massage. I mean, these things are obviously all great and they're necessary, but like when they're used as a crutch, as a way of like active recovery, I can't agree with that, right? So like massage, dry needling, acupuncture, cryo, sauna, like all those things are amazing. And again, like they serve their purpose, but like, what about like making the athlete or making the individual take responsibility and like work the troubled areas in his body? Because chances are, and seminars like FRC and, you know, like Kinstretch and some of these other like prehab certs will teach you on like how to make really weak areas in people's bodies work, right? How to be very localized and how to make like an active recovery day like almost as challenging as, you know, an actual training day.
And I hear with athletes, you know, I always hear that athletes are one of the biggest magicians at hiding dysfunction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they move so quick.
Yep.
You know, they look so good doing it. You're like,
and
you're a gazelle out there. You know, and then people like you are like, well, your big toe, like rotate a little too soon, and they're like, motherfucker, like this guy, you know. But you know, you're dead on with the whole joint mobility thing and the control, because it really wasn't until I took FRC and then the next week I went and took the durability cert with you and Shane, and it wasn't until I was able to tie, like, the thing I like about FRC is that it's for people like you and me, like we're nerds when it comes to like the exercise science thing. So like really learning the nitty gritty of that was awesome, but then to double down on that with more of the application, like easier to apply, like. A lot of people, especially early on, are going to have a lot of trouble doing like controlled articular rotations, but being able to get on the ground and do like a kneeling spinal wave or can't, you know, and the stuff that durability showed allowed me to have a more holistic approach to implement in for a wide array of athletes and clients, right? And I think that was really what moved that, along with, you know, animal flow, which is another body control modality, were the things that really made a huge difference in my clients' lives, more than kettlebell work, more than working with the mace.
I will tell you something. I think one, and as much as still it's not the easiest thing to always get clients to want to do some of these things, because, you know, it's not considered as sexy. But I will tell you one thing though, if you look at back then compared to now, I feel that social media has helped in the sense of, when you put it together in a video and people see, I think people are more like, I want to try that out. That looks interesting. I've never seen that before. And I think it's also allowed for then when your client comes like, hey, I saw you doing that movement. I've gotten that before. That's really interesting. It really looks really cool. Or what is that? You know, so I think the fact that we can put out this good kind of content out there that seems different because most people haven't seen it before, haven't even attempted it, I think it does help to open up conversation and connections. And it allows you now to be like, man, good. This is what we need to start with this person. thank God, they saw it somewhere.
My biggest hits on IG are with the mobility warm-ups and the ground-based warm. Like, everyone's like, fuck, I don't do any of that stuff. It's like, well, start. Start.
Yeah. And I was speaking to like the athlete realm, but you're right though, Josh, like even, a population of people, just like general population, right? People going to CrossFit gyms, to going to, your Gold's gym, to going to Equinox, to going to wherever gym you want to go. Like, more often than not, like, y'all know what the typical warm-up is, right? Like, we did it growing up for sports. Your high knees, your butt kickers, reach for your toes.
If you're doing that. If you're not just doing like one of these and then stare at the dumbbells and then grab the 90s.
Or I'm going to go run for 15, 20 minutes on the treadmill to warm up.
Yep, exactly. And that's what I used to do for a very long time.
Yep.
Just get on the treadmill, get really sweaty, and then be like, all right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the warm up. You know what I mean? So yeah, that, I guess for all populations within fitness, that's where I think hopefully things are going into, which is like, if I do this, I feel better. And hopefully just like that feel better is enough to win people over. You know what I mean? I gotta prioritize this now.
Yeah, man, I love all this. I know that we're getting close to an hour, and Mendez is going to have a couple of rapid fire questions, so I hope you're ready for those. But man, I just want to say I always love connecting with you. You're my homie. I've been to Austin plenty of times, hanging out with you and Nat and the whole crew there. So yeah. I love connecting with you, man. It's so great to be able to see the growth that you've had. I mean, I've known you for probably like 5 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to see the come up, man, has been super exciting. It's always motivating to see you out there grinding. It makes me want to work harder. So I appreciate the hell out of you, man, not only for what you're doing for the industry, but for what you're doing for people like us to keep us motivated, keep us grinding, and keep us in check to make sure we're doing our things as well, too, man.
I really appreciate you coming on, man, and really sharing what you're doing because, you're doing some really amazing stuff, and you're really setting a very big, valuable footprint in the fitness and health industry, and to just have more individuals like yourself out there in the game and seeing that we have people like you serving people, it just leaves a good footmark for the fitness industry and also drives quality, and it drives people to believe in the fitness industry even more because, that was something that I feel like a lot of people were doubting, was believing in the fitness industry. And I think as more quality coaches like yourself come out there, I think people's belief is going to keep growing because once they experience it and they see the results and they feel the results, there's no going back. So I really wanted to say thank you on that part again.
Hell yeah, bro. I appreciate y'all, fellas. And obviously this energy is completely reciprocated, bro. Like, obviously we're all busy guys, right? Like, we wouldn't be taking this time to want to, connect with one another on a podcast, from across or damn near almost across the U.S. Like, if we didn't feel very fondly about each other, right? If we didn't respect each other and understand that, like, yeah, we're all on a grind. You know what I mean? And the cool thing is we're saying it differently, but we're all on this like common theme and message, which is just ultimately helping people and servicing people, being a coach of some sort, right? And so it's a lot of responsibility in that to continue to keep that high threshold of being a coach, right? Like, it's not just a title given, like, it's earned. Right. People consistently going to you and working with you. Again, even not in person, like, that much harder to create value and connection. Like, you guys are able to do that. And so that's now something I'm kind of getting into. So, and obviously you guys have put out the blueprint of how to do that, which is be authentic, be genuine, share your personality, and just be who you are and don't be afraid of sharing that. So
yeah, we really appreciate that, man. Thanks. It means a lot coming from you. Where can people, how can people reach out to you? Where can they find you online, and where can they find the Durable Athlete app?
Yeah. So Durable Athlete app specifically could be, any one of the the app stores, the Android or Apple, or people can just go, directly onto the Durable Athlete website, create a little profile, and then you get emailed, the app in your own email. So many different ways you can kind of go about it.
Great.
Our website is just durableathlete.com. My Instagram is just my name, Cristian.Plascencia. And then Natalie's obviously is just her name as well, Natalie.Higby. And yes, everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, you can find me on Twitter and website stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
Awesome.
Right.
We got to get you. I've been trying for so long, man. We got to get you and Nat down here, and we'll get you in the studio.
Woo.
I know, man. That would be wild. we definitely can go on a little round table, bro. I would like that.
Yeah, that'd be
intense.
awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. You want to hit him?
Yep, let's do it. Time to light you up with some of the questions.
Hell yeah, bro.
Awesome. So question number 1. What would be your top 3 go-to movements that you would do every single day?
Shin box, a hinge, it's like a single leg hinge, and how about a spinal rollback?
Boom. And why
Love
those
it.
3?
Oof. I would say they're probably just challenging areas for me where I hold a lot of tension. So like my spine sometimes from just being at a desk, right? I would say shin boxing my hips, being in like that deep internal external rotation. Like my hips are just very, very tight. They're very restricted.
Always my favorite.
I can agree with that.
Always, yeah. Shin box is like a go-to.
I love it. My clients hate it. I'm like, take your hands off the ground. They're like, fuck you. yeah.
And then the spinal rollback, the shin box, and then the single leg hinge, just because I love like anything with like the foot, anything where like the foot is like in just straight contact with the ground, and there's nothing to kind of help you or like give you, feedback in your environment. Like just a great way, a great like full body movement that really feels like it has to integrate the whole entire system together.
Love that. Next question. What's the one thing you want to see stopping right now in the fitness industry?
Unrealistic goals.
Like that.
Yeah.
Next question. What's the craziest and wildest experience you've ever had in your career?
Let's see. Craziest and wildest experience. Man, honestly, there's been a lot, but I would have to say what trumps it all, especially after 2020, is I saw Kobe's last game in San Antonio, and I was sitting like not courtside. So it's courtside, it's one row, and then it's the third row, basically, like after like a little jump, a little walkway. I was in that third row, and that was like the most magical moment of my whole life, bro.
And you're probably the biggest Kobe fan I know, dude.
Yeah, bro. I'm a huge Kobe fan, bro. Like a fan doesn't even do it justice. You know what I mean? So that was probably like, yeah, like by far just something I'll like vividly remember forever.
Yeah, now we know your Christmas present next year.
Oh, hell yeah. Anything KB, bro. That's it. That's all I do.
Last question, brother. What's the biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today in one sentence?
Start to prioritize your health and your well-being every day.
Boom.
I love that.
You heard it, guys, from Cristian himself.
You're the man, brother. We appreciate you coming on. Everyone, make sure you guys follow Cristian. Make sure you guys download the Durable Athlete app. It's out on all the app stores today. You guys heard it. The man, the myth, the legend himself. Until next time, everybody.